Hey there, YouTube friends, maskedbandit here, and we are at Dollywood today. We're taking a vacation in the Smoky Mountains, and I thought I'd come to Dollywood. Unfortunately, we have a reservation system because of the coronavirus, which means I had to come today on Tuesday the 23rd, and it is currently raining a lot, and it might be a total wash, but we're going to see what's up. I'm going to keep my mask on for the rest of the day, so you're not going to get any real-time talking from me. The rest will be done after I've completed the footage and after I'm back home. So this is my experience at Dollywood on a rainy Tuesday. Let's go see. The first thing that I want to really mention about this trip is what a good job Dollywood did to make me feel comfortable and safe. There's signs throughout the park talking about social distancing. I saw several employees gently reminding people to put their masks on if they had taken them off to ride the rides. There are several, you'll see in the video here, several things that Dollywood has done to really make guest safety a forefront importance, and that helped a lot because I said to my wife before I went to the park that if I felt uncomfortable, I would leave. The way it worked is she dropped me off, and so she was my ride. So I told her if I call you for a ride, it's because I don't feel safe. Luckily, there goes Thunderhead, great ride. Luckily, I did feel safe. Just about everyone was wearing their mask, and in the line, people were separated for the most part. However, I did notice as the day wore on, more and more masks started falling, especially as the heat grew, and some people started clustering in lines. I tried my best to keep my distance, and by the time I left, I was ready to go because I figured things were feeling a little less safe, but overall, I was comfortable. So if you're headed to Dollywood during this crazy time, I think you can be okay. So the first ride that I went on was Lightning Rod, and I do have some thoughts about it in real time as I eat lunch. So I won't talk too much about it here, but I think Dollywood is a theme park lover's park. If you go to theme parks for top thrill rides, you probably are not going to find what you're looking for. There's an example of the 6-foot stickers they have all throughout the park, and you'll notice we are socially distanced. I felt very comfortable there. But it is a theme park, which I'll talk about in just a second. For me, the biggest part of Dollywood was the theming, not so much the coaster collection. The coasters are good, but they gear more towards family-friendly, Lightning Rod obviously notwithstanding. But that's okay for me personally. I love theme parks. I like theme park design. I like seeing how they interact with each other, and I think that's where Dollywood's strength lies, in its theming, in its attention to detail, and its overall beauty. So I'm taking a quick lunch break here. I've ridden Lightning Rod so far, and I really enjoyed it. It's a pretty good RMC. Its second half is really forceful. Lots of ejector airtime on that. I guess quad down they call it. I really liked the first half with the air and the overbanks. That was my favorite part. I'm too old. Sorry, I'm sitting right by Thunderhead. That's gonna be my next adventure. I don't like coasters that beat me up. I'm too old for that. I'm too old for that. I slept on the ground on a pile of rocks last night because we're camping. But I like that. I like Lightning Rod. I thought it was good. That was real good. So it's lunchtime now. I got myself let me see here, some chippies and a sandwich. Gonna snack real quick and put the mask back on and get on with the tour. So park's pretty dead today. The sun is back out now. It's beautiful. We're getting warm, especially in a vinyl poncho. So I'm gonna try and hit all the coasters, kind of just go around, do the loop, hit the coasters, and then probably on my way. So, but yeah, so far, beautiful park. Absolutely love it. I did, in fact, keep that mask on the entire time I was at the park, including on the rides. In fact, the only time I didn't have it on are when I got to the park to start filming, when I was eating lunch, and then at the end of the video once I was completely outside of the park. I wanted to be sure to keep safe and to keep others safe. So encourage everyone to wear their masks whenever they're going out, and especially if you're going to a theme park. It wasn't so bad on the rides. By the way, my thoughts on Thunderhead. That's my favorite ride at Dollywood. Really fun ride. I think that was my first modern GCI. I had been on Gwazi, but that was a long time ago. And it was actually, they were not dueling when I went on it. So yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. The next ride on my to-do list was Mystery Mine. And this is my second Eurofighter. My first Eurofighter was Iron Shark here in Galveston, Texas. But this one was really crazy, and I think this had the best ride experience. It wasn't the smoothest or best ride, but it had the best experience. It was part dark ride, part coaster. It was really cool. They did such a great job. After I rode Mystery Mine, took a walk and made my way over to FireChaser Express, another Gerstlauer coaster. This one, I was ridiculously hyped, and I don't know why I was so excited to ride this coaster. Just the thrill of the backwards launch and just something different. I'd never been on something like this before, so I was so pumped to get a chance to ride this, and it did not disappoint. Super cute little ride. Again, it's not a world breaker. It's nothing over the top and crazy. It's just, I love the setting that it's in. The theme is cute. The whole telling the story on the ride is good. And it's a fun little ride. And as I was on it, all I could think about was how much my kids would probably enjoy this ride. So if I ever make it back to the Smoky Mountains, I cannot wait to take my kids on this ride, because both of them now, I believe, are tall enough to ride this coaster. As you can see, the backwards launch is super fun. Nothing too forceful. It's a fun ride. And that's kind of where I'm at. I like fun rides. Fun launch out of the station. Overall, met my expectations. Granted, I was not expecting a world-class, high-intensity thrill ride. I was expecting a fun family coaster, and that's exactly what this ride delivers. So, if you have kids or you like these more friendly rides, I highly recommend you check this out if you go to Dollywood. Super cute. Oh, another thing that was great about safety is every ride, before you got on the ride, you got a pump of hand sanitizer. So every person in the park was able to go on the ride with sanitized hands, and every so often they would sanitize the entire ride system. When I was in line for Thunderhead, I saw several empty trains go by. They had just disinfected the train completely from head to toe and let it air dry through the track. So that's pretty cool. After FireChaser, I made my way over to Wild Eagle. I have been on two previous wing riders. I had been on X-Flight at Six Flags Great America, and I had been on Gatekeeper. Just last summer I was on Gatekeeper at Cedar Point for the Bro Nation meetup. So I was super excited to ride the United States first wing rider in Wild Eagle, and I have to say, it absolutely delivered what I was hoping it would. I found it more intense than the other two wing riders, and I can say that it's my favorite wing rider that I've been on, and it was my second favorite ride in the park, behind Thunderhead. So my top three are Thunderhead, and then Wild Eagle, and then Lightning Rod. Those are the three best coasters. So there's a good shot of Wild Eagle's drop. This is the first wing rider I'd been on with an actual straight drop without that wing over element, so that was really cool. The thing about Wild Eagle is the thing about a lot of these coasters is you can't get good views of them at all. So hopefully you're enjoying the views I did get. Took a spin on this crazy ride, Blazing Fury, at the suggestion of Redline on Bro Nation. I was actually going to skip it, but he recommended that if the line is short, to give it a whirl. The line was short. I'm glad I did it. It's a cute little dark ride that has a surprising little punch at the end. So that was nice. One of the things that I think is my favorite part about Dollywood is the love that is shown for the culture of Tennessee. I was really surprised with how much, quote, love I could feel in this park. It's very clear that Dolly Parton loves Tennessee and wants to share the history, the culture, and her love of Tennessee with the people who visit this park. It is so, at least it was so obvious to me in every inch of the park. The staff is incredibly friendly. Just the themes of the park, how well executed those themes are. And here in this part in the back of the park, the famous grist mill and the cinnamon bread. Everyone on Bro Nation was screaming at me to make sure I get cinnamon bread. I definitely did. And it was fantastic. Tennessee Tornado, one of the park's older coasters. I thought it was fun. Very short. It's really cool because it's so overgrown now. It's really hard to know what's going on, where you're at. If I had decided to spend more time here, I probably would have ridden. This would have been on my re-ride list, and just so I could get a better feel of how it all went together. It's shrouded in the trees and in the hills, and it's a fun ride. And I think it's aged fairly well. It wasn't nearly as uncomfortable as I was worried it was going to be. So yeah, I was pretty pleased with it. The rain was in and out all day long. It would rain for a while pretty heavily, then it would clear up just as quickly as it came, only to return another hour or two later. So throughout the day, the flume ride here was sometimes busy, but the thing was social distancing even on the rides. None of the trains ran full. They kept spacing between rows, which was really good. So yeah, it was very, very nice to see. I did not ride the train. Again, had I decided to spend a little more time there, I would have, but man, this engine is spectacular. This train is absolutely great. Really beautiful engine. I'm a little bit into trains. It's not my jam, but for those of you who are into trains, this is a must ride at Dollywood. It is beautiful. You can see the plumes of smoke throughout the park as it's going along the track. It's really an experience. For this year, there is a garden exhibition with these huge garden sculptures, and how could I resist taking a video of these lovely little of this little sculpture of the raccoons across the water from Lightning Rod. This was near the end of my trip now, making our way through, I think it is at Market Square area. This, I think, had my favorite architecture. It reminds me a lot of what we were trying to do in No Name Landia in some of our architecture. And it just felt so cozy and so homey. Everything looked beautiful. The park was absolutely spotless. They had all these vendors for their festival. It reminded me actually a lot of the festival that was going on at Cedar Point when we went last year. I like that. That's something that I now have witnessed twice in the last couple of years. These actual like festivals where they have different vendors come to sell their things inside the park, and it's a nice little change of pace from the standard theme park vibe. So that's nice. But you can see this building. I love that yellow building. I'm probably going to have to recreate it in Planet Coaster. This little umbrella sculpture over the street is gorgeous. I love it. And it was so fitting for the rainy day that we had. I just thought it was too perfect. I actually made 2 loops through the park just to get the first one to get my feel for where things were at and how big the park was. And then this second loop, this is the second time I'm passing the sculpture. On the first one, I saw this ice cream and I said, I'm coming back for some of this. So here at the end of the trip, I decided to grab myself some ice cream. After that, it was time to grab a souvenir and head towards the exit. And I spent about 5 hours in the park. Loved every minute of it. And I'll let my past self tell you what my thoughts were right getting out. Well, I am at the exit entrance area. I'm going to call it a day here. It's mid-afternoon. Got on all the coasters. Got the cinnamon bread. Got a coffee mug. I'd consider this a successful day. First initial thoughts on Dollywood, fantastic. Such a great park. So much to see. Beautiful theming, beautiful environment, really, really good. Hope you enjoyed this tour of Dollywood, and if you did, make sure to hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and always have yourself a great day, great night, great whatever, and I'll see all of you real soon for something else. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.